Hello everybody, welcome to Blue Marble Science. Well, the horizon is rising to Phuket's eye level. Again. Really? Warning, severe facial and monitor damage alert is in effect. Get out those oven mitts. Push the monitors back out of punching range. And Gladys, come on, we got to get over to Phuket's house. He's messed up the horizon again. Yeah, I guess you're right. Let's just light this dumpster fire and have some fun.
Hello, Flat Earth researchers, debaters and debunkers.
Hello, Nick.
I was sent the link to this webpage by someone in my comments section on my channel, so I thought it would be worth just demonstrating how unscientific and how easy it is to show how the people that believe they can disprove the flat Earth and prove a globe Earth with these water level experiments are really just being very childish and unscientific about the whole thing. It's so easy once you see what's actually going on here to demonstrate how wrong they are and how they just don't have anything but lies and obfuscation on their side to try and debunk this idea that the horizon somehow drops below eye level. The fact is that eye level is where you will always find the horizon. This is a commonly accepted fact of life until you come across someone who wants to defend the globe belief.
Let's see if we can sort this out right now before we go any further. The horizon doesn't rise, ever. What happens is the downward angle from your eye to any point on a flat surface simply becomes more and more shallow with distance. That's all it is. We got our boy Cletus here. Let's give Cletus a level line of sight. This is Cletus's eye line. We'll make it 5 feet. Cletus is not that big a guy, right? That 5 foot eye level is the same at Cletus as it is all the way out to infinity. It never changes. 5 feet is the level of Cletus's eye above the surface. What happens if Cletus tries to look at something that's only 5 feet in front of him? Well, he's got to look down, obviously. And it's really easy to figure out how much. He has to look down at a 45-degree angle. If you want to know what it is, it's that formula. Take Cletus's eye level, divide it by the distance to the object, and take the arctangent of it. What happens, though, if Cletus looks at something that's 25 feet away? Now Cletus only has to look down at an 11.3-degree angle. Remember, in the first example, he looked down at 45 degrees. Now it's only 11.3. What happens if Cletus looks out at the horizon, and for him that's about 15,000 feet away? Cletus only has to look down from level 0.02 degrees to see the horizon. This is the perspective effect that gives you the impression that the horizon is rising, but it is not. You're just simply able to look at a more shallow angle. That's all.
And of course, the globe model is very much dependent on having a horizon that's created by some kind of imaginary curvature, when in fact the horizon is something that occurs in our eyes as a result of looking across a level surface. So let's just go through this and we'll show very clearly why these guys just can't really do any science at all, and they have nothing to back up their ridiculous claims that we have this kind of apparent drop in the horizon at eye level. So here we have this introduction here that says, flat earthers like to say water finds its own level. Well, this is just simply a fact of life, and this is why you can use the water level as is demonstrated here, because we know that water on either side of these tubes will be at the same level. This is real physics. And this is why we know that when we look at we compare these two diagrams here of a flat Earth model, which is more like reality, and this ridiculous round Earth globe model, we can see that, of course, the natural physics of water would have water flow down this curve.
And just for the record, with that last statement, you now have a jackass laughing at you.
And on a level plane, it would be much more easily contained between these 2 points. I mean, straight off, this is just physics. This is just real life physics. But that aside, what we're talking about here is how these measurements are performed by using this kind of spirit or water level to find what they call true level. And we can see that what we're talking about here is eye level. So we have the horizontal eye level line of sight at this particular height lined up with these water levels here, and seeing if it will line up with the distant horizon. That's basically the premise of the experiments here. And here is what they predict is what you should see on a flat Earth. Basically, this is eye level passing through the two levels here, and you would also see it hitting a mountain in the distance. And of course, with the globe Earth, you would have this eye level horizon that shows this massive drop of more distant objects. Well, of course, to go with this, you have some mathematics, and as usual, it must be pointed out that when you have a diagram like this and you seek to have your mathematical proofs, then you will always get your mathematical proofs if you have a line of a certain length, or these certain angles and tangent lines and what have you. You will be able to prove the math in of itself. It will always work in this diagram. It will be undeniable. But when you actually come to using this in reality, it doesn't fit with reality.
What do you mean it doesn't fit with reality, Nick? Let's give it a try and see how real it is. I've got a piece of paper here, and I'm going to use this corner as the right angle. We know that's pretty close to the right angle. I have measured off 10 inches this direction, as you can see, and I've measured off 5 inches in that direction. Maybe a little hard to see. There's the 5-inch mark right there. I've got a protractor, and I've already adjusted the protractor to match that line. Just move it here and show you that the protractor is matching that line. Move it a little bit further, see if we can get it on the other side. Like that. Right on it. Let's see what the protractor says. I read about a little over 26 degrees. Maybe slightly hard to see. But yeah, about 26 degrees. This is what we were doing in the earlier example. 5 divided by 10. 5 divided by 10 is 0.5, of course. And if we take the arc tangent of that, 26.5 degrees. 26.5 degrees, as close as I could read that thing. What about this doesn't match with reality, Nick?
So here's what they've done. We've got some photographs here showing this water level here, which does in this instance, line up with the more distant horizon, and we have all this maths to go with it. And here they say this experiment actually works out at sea level. Sea level is just a hair below true level. But what do you actually consider you are looking at? Do you think you are looking into this bulge of curvature that's coming up to this same physical height as the water in front of you? Well,
no, Nick, of course the water isn't rising up. Even you flat earth guys have figured out that water won't run uphill. What you're seeing there is a presentation of level. That's the water level. And it is being matched against the horizon that is in the background and slightly below that line of sight. Now, if I take old Cletus here and I stick him at an eye level of 20 feet, and that's what that example uses, the horizon's about 5.5 miles away, and over that distance, it drops about 20 feet. So the total drop of 40 feet over 5.5 miles is a 0.08 degree down angle to see the horizon. Less than 1/10 of 1 degree. And that's exactly what you see. I'm going to save you guys and skip over a bunch of Nick's video where he goes through several more examples of these water levels, every one of which show that a level line of sight is always above the horizon, no matter what. Because what I really want to do is get to Nick's primary complaint, and that is the meniscus of these water levels is not exactly centered in the picture. For some reason or the other, mysteriously, that makes a big difference in Nick's mind. And I think we can show that it doesn't make any difference at all.
Anything that's up or down from eye level is not eye level, okay? Eye level is only this horizontal line of sight, all right? It really shouldn't have to be explained. This is just a fact of life. So let's go back to the first photograph, and we can see here that one really easy way to do this, if anyone wants to look at these websites and believe the claims that they are making, then you just go ahead and you believe it. But the whole point here is to test these things for yourself. So what you can do is just take any of these photographs, and we can see here, for example, that this one is 600 pixels high from top to bottom. So all we have to do to establish eye level, assuming that the camera was horizontal, and this was obviously being scientifically done, then we should have everything lining up midway. What I've done here is I've just brought this marker down. We can see that it comes down to exactly the 300 mark there, so that's exactly halfway. This should be eye level of this photograph. It should have been taken horizontally if this experiment was going to be in any way truly scientific and represent eye level or true level, if you like. But what do we have here? We have this eye level which is way above both of these. So okay, this person has managed to photograph the water level and put it in line with the horizon, which is easy enough to do if you just play around with the camera and the parallax. Then you'll eventually get this result. But what you should also do is make sure that everything is lined up here at eye level, and when it is lined up, then you know that actually this will tell you that the camera is in fact level. So you can see here that this hasn't been done properly, all right? And the same goes for the next picture here.
Nick, I think you know better than this, and I think you're being intentionally dishonest. I think you know very well that the only important factor is having the center of the lens and the meniscus of the fluids in both legs of those water levels in line. Which direction the camera is tilted from that point on makes no difference. Allow me to demonstrate. Let me explain what's going on here. I've got 3 blocks that I've cut. They're all 3 exactly the same height. And that height is exactly to the center line of the lens in this cell phone. I'm going to take the phone back to the back end of the workbench now. Let's see, we'll move it over just slightly. And there you can see that the 3 blocks, the top of the 3 blocks lines up perfectly. But they line up perfectly if I just rotate the phone over and put them in the top of the frame. They also line up perfectly if I tilt the phone back and put them toward the bottom of the frame. It makes no difference. Nick, all this stuff you're telling people is just flat nonsense. This makes no difference whatsoever. And just when you think it can't get any worse, never underestimate Phuket Word.
But what is cool to look at is this one, for example. Here we have a frame from a video that's taken inside an aircraft, and this is the Airbus en route HUD cockpit view. You can go and check this out yourself. And again, we've done the same thing. We've got this height of the frame here as being 1080. So we have this line right here in the center of the field of view, and we can see that we have the horizon in the center of the field of view. Okay, that's really how it is. That's just how it is.
Nick, you numbskull, those are clouds. That line you drew across there is across the top of a cloud deck. That's not the horizon. Those are clouds. Oh, jeez. I don't think I can do any more of this. Hey guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button down there. And we'll catch you on the next one. Hey Gladys, we're out of here.